Okay, this is going to be a cooking experiment. I have some tomatoes here, a homeschool squash, or also known as Lebanese zucchini, and some black mustard greens. I will attempt to saute these items together. I know that the zucchini here takes the longest to cook, so I'll be sauteing that first. In the meantime, I'll get the ingredients ready. First, of course, chop up the zucchini and wash the mustard. Now there are some flea beetle holes on this, so I'm going to be washing off mostly insects and dirt, and pull out the greens and rinse off any dirt or insects that fall off into the water, and then add more water. I'll show you when I'm done. Another reason I want to be washing off the black mustard is I fertilized the black mustard greens earlier this afternoon with diluted urine. Although urine is supposed to be sterile, I just wanted to be sure. Mainly use urine as a nitrogen fertilizer. I'm guessing maybe I should be creating a video on how to collect urine for that purpose. The step I forgot to mention, of course, is to remove the calyxes from the tomatoes and rinse them off before we're using them. These take the least amount of time to cook and also need to be put in at the very end. And make sure the pan is at the lowest temperature setting available, because the tomatoes burst quickly. In case you were wondering what the calyx on a tomato was, it is the cap that attaches to the fruit end, left from the flower. These are found on a lot of fruits, notably, I think, for example, raspberries, except usually the calyx is removed on harvesting for blackberries and raspberries. For tomatoes, it's left on because it helps the fruit last longer in storage. Same applies for many winter storage tomatoes, especially like the heirloom long keeper and subarctic plenty. Sorry for the rant on calyx. Let's get back to the cross-contamination. I am cutting the bacon last on the cutting board after having already cut the greens used for cooking and the squash. If that is not an option, you can use a separate cutting board, but I'm trying to conserve cutting space here. I'll be slicing the bacon into small pieces and rendering it on the pan before sauteing. If you're using bacon for cooking instead of a plant oil like olive oil or avocado oil, it's important to render the bacon bits before adding the other ingredients for sauteing. I learned this the hard way by attempting to saute some Chinese kale with bacon at the same time, and the kale was done cooking before the bacon was done, and it was left with soggy bacon bits. So, as I said, saute the bacon before cooking. One good thing about bacon, though, is that it has a higher flash point than many plant oils, so it's less likely to burn spontaneously while cooking or smoke. The bad thing is it's hard to find good quality bacon in the North America or in the States. If you have a neighbor that raises pigs, by all means ask for some bacon from him. You won't be disappointed. And you'll also get a higher quality product that's finished. What I forgot to mention is that I'm rendering the bacon fat on low to reduce the amount of fat that gets burnt in the process. I'm not sure if this is necessary since I'm new at this, but I just wanted to mention it in case it's significant. Forgot to mention is to stir the bacon bits periodically to prevent them from burning. I believe this is significant because this process is also done when frying bacon just for snacking. Otherwise you'll end up with burnt bacon bits. What I forgot to mention is the need to chop up and peel the garlic before cutting the bacon. I had to wash the cutting board before chopping the garlic again because I didn't want to risk cross-contamination, and keep the garlic on hand halfway through the process and add it in to avoid burning. I will show you when I add it. The bacon has turned golden brown and most of the fat has been rendered out. You can go ahead and add the zucchini, as well as some salt, pepper, and oregano. I'll show you when I've added the pepper, oregano, and salt because I only have one free hand while holding the camera. Added a little bit of water to reduce the risk of burning. This can be done if there is a high risk of frying the food instead of sauteing it. So I added some water in there. Another thing I mentioned is I used sea salt in this case, but in many cases you might be better using kosher salt or regular rock salt or iodized salt, because many sea salt brands may be high in microplastics. Always check the country of origin when buying sea salt. In this case, it was the Mediterranean, but some actually come from the Far East or China, may be more likely to have high amounts of microplastics in them. In order to make the cooking time less for the black mustard, and also to make it fit better in the pan, I sliced up the greens into slices. Is generally recommended as well when cooking collards as well. I just forgot to do that earlier, and I just remembered now. I went ahead and added the mustard greens and the garlic in the cooking process. I have no idea what the result will be, but we'll find out. As a precautionary measure, I removed the lid from the pan to allow some of the water to evaporate off. I think I added a little too much water in the process. As I said, there's no measurements here. This is my first time doing this recipe, and I don't know how it's going to turn out. And I'll show you later. Fully evaporated. Because the squash is almost done cooking, I'm going to go ahead and add the tomatoes now and carefully saute them. And watch, once it should be done cooking when some of the tomatoes begin to burst or slightly crack. I will be covering it just to make sure. It should happen pretty quickly, only a couple minutes needed to cook the tomatoes. Tomatoes have already started to burst open. I'm going to go ahead and serve this dish now. I'm a little disappointed that I couldn't get most of the water to evaporate. I guess I'll remember to use less water next time, or none at all. Water with a fine mesh colander, but let's hope I didn't drain away too much of the flavor from it. I guess I'll taste it. Hopefully it turned out well. Definitely turned out a lot better than other dishes I've tried, so I didn't mess up too badly. Just remember next time to add less water when cooking. And thanks for watching. I guess you can subscribe if you like it. Okay, goodbye.